has, or excuse me, not Mike Garvey, but Rick Crawford has played a smooth hand so far because he's managed to stay out of these first 5 cautions. Yep. By the way, how many did we bet there were going to be today?
Had we bet?
Yeah, we
well,
bet.
I don't think you and I did too good because
I think Mark Allen is going to be way ahead of us on the cautions here this afternoon. Of course, you never know. I mean, I think he went for. Oh, we're not even going to say what.
No, we're not going to say.
Pace car's out on the racetrack. Bobby Gill is out of the car, unfortunately, as we see the crew over there working on his car. He's done for the day. John Crow is done for the day. Red Farmer's done for the day. We'll try to get you a complete rundown of all the cars that are out at this point. We're looking for a replay right now to see what happened on the front stretch. And here, let's see what we can see in terms of somebody getting spun around. I think we're going to catch the end of it. Could have just lost it. I mean, that's a good place to where the car maybe just came around on him. But we're about ready to get it started again. Coming back on lap number 61. That's Rick Crawford on the inside of Dave Mader, which means that Crawford must have gotten himself a lap down somewhere along the way. Jeff Purvis will sit in the second spot. And Rick Crawford's going to try to unlap himself as he'll try to make a move on Dave Mader, and he got him right there.
Yep, he's
Crawford moves around and back onto the tail end of the lead lap as Dave Mader will fall in behind. Jeff Purvis now moves into the second spot. And once again, Rick Crawford, nice job. That's what you're supposed to do, and that's the time to do it when you can make a move and get around and get the lap back.
Yeah, I got a feeling he's on fresher tires. I believe that's how he got his lap down. I don't know if he had a problem, but I know he must be on fresher tires.
Well, he could have cut a tire down anytime during those first 3 cautions, gone to the pits, got tires, and obviously he shot by Mader like he was on rails there. So Mader and now is got to deal with Jeff Purvis, who's on the same tires. Neither of those 2 cars are pitted yet.
Yeah, you know, Rick Crawford's one that could win this race. He's got the equipment, he's got the talent, and Dave Mader would have done him good to try to keep him a lap down, but I'll tell you, tires make as much as 3 seconds a lap different from new to 50-lap old ones. And
well, at this point, 65 laps, I mean, this is about where they're supposed to be junked, right?
They're working. Right now, anyone on tires that they started this race on, which is most of the field, right now, they're going to find out where they're at. This is where we're going to find out who's who.
Look a little bit further back in the field. There's Eddie Mercer battling the lap car of Ricky Brooks. Mercer moves around, and here's another guy who, he's a local guy. Eddie Mercer's got car sales business here, an amusement business here. Fast Eddie's is one of his businesses here in Pensacola. I asked him this morning, I said, Eddie, this is your home track, man. You should be set to slay the dragon this afternoon. He says, you know what? We've been messed up all week. They took that car, the 72 car, back to the shop, worked on it all night last night to get it ready to go. One of the advantages of being from someplace like Pensacola to run the Snowball Derby is you do have your shop right here.
Yeah, you know, as a racer, you're always looking for the edge. And in that conversation with Eddie, they knew everybody and their brother was coming here to try to make this race and win it. So they were looking for that edge, and they tried something, and it just didn't work. So they were fortunate enough to be at home and went to the shop and could fix it.
Yeah, and he certainly, again, folks, with 328 laps making up the distance this afternoon in the Snowball Derby, plenty of time out there, folks. We're not even anywhere close to being a third way through. Mader, once again, is going to be forced now. He's your leader to deal with the lap traffic. Jeff Purvis right behind it. James Finch's Phoenix construction machine. There's the 10 car of Super Mario Goslin. He works the traffic coming out of turn 4. And Freddie Query, we haven't said anything much about Freddie there down in the bottom. As you watch the 10 and the 18, kind of confusing there. Both of those look almost identical to each other. 258 laps complete. Remaining, yeah, I should say.
Not complete.
No, that'll be a long time this afternoon. Help me out there. Glad you helped me out there, Eddie. Once again, we're watching the 18 car and Mario Goslin, who had such a terrific year and will go down in the record books as the first ever champion for the Hooters Series. Ronnie Sanders and the Country Bred Meat. Mario Goslin, sponsored by Budweiser and Young Oil. And I don't know, there's not a lot of these guys that have gotten tires yet, and as we see the 10 car go spinning around, we're going to have ourselves another caution flag. I think the 6th one for the afternoon on lap number 73.
Yeah, that was Mario. We were just talking about it.
Sure enough, we put the curse on him, and it's the tire thing. I mean, it was one of those deals where it looked like he just spun it around, just by letting the back end of the car got around on it.
Yeah, anyone who's missed the chassis setup just by a little bit is really going to feel it now. This is when, if the car's not perfect,
Think about what this just did for Rick Crawford. Lap back and now going to catch up on top of that. Plus he's got tires. I'm going to be surprised if some of these leaders at some point aren't going to go ahead and get some tires. Would you gamble at this point, Eddie? All right, stay with us, everybody. We're going to take a timeout from Five Flag Speedway. Back with more of the Snowball Derby right after this. I don't know if I put my hand on. I don't know if I put my hand on that tire like that guy was doing there, Eddie, because it just came off of Mario Gosselin's car. It's probably a little bit hot.
Yeah.
That rim's probably a little bit hot too, and Mario's probably a little bit hot right now about somebody not hitting all the bolts to get that tire on.
Yeah, they were just in and got tires.
Yeah, let's go down to the pit road, Mark Allen.
Well, we may be, Pat, we may be able to shed some light on this. Mario Gosselin jacked up the left side of his car. They only changed the rear tire, so they may not have tightened the lugs back down in the front. Standing next to me is a fellow who really wanted to do well today, but is out early. Bobby, what happened out there?
Well, we was underneath Dave Manor there, and there was a lap car. And I was just racing with Dave. We weren't really racing. Dave kind of got in the back of the lap car and turned him sideways, and he overcorrected it. And when I moved up, he caught us in the left rear and knocked the rear end out from under the car.
Tough break for a man who won this race in '93, was running up front in '94, had a transmission break, is out early today.
You know the feeling, Eddie. I mean, it's load it up and go home, and unfortunately for this place, it doesn't even have a tunnel. So you got not only have you got the misery of not being in the race, now you got to sit and watch the rest of it.
You're stuck.
Yeah, John Crow probably not having a great afternoon either, as we've chronicled for you this afternoon. Crow's been in and out of the pits, and looks like they may have the problem solved. Let's go back down to Mark Allen, or get a comment from Mark Allen. Mark, you there? Got a comment for us? All right, let's go to Doug Rice and see what Doug Rice has to say. Doug.
Heavy right front damage on that car, and it looks like they're going to probably have to mark the number 94 Monopoly machine for the rest of the day. So Lonnie Rush's hopes of picking up a win here for the Snowball Derby have disappeared.
Okay, thanks, Doug. And yeah, as we said earlier, Bill Elliott and the Hardy Boys and all those guys really wanted to see this happen. We got a green flag coming at us again, and Dave Mader once again leads the field back. Some people have fresh tires in the field, not up front though. The leaders stayed out, right, Eddie?
Yeah, the leaders stayed out. This one, it gets really nervous. I mean, you got a lot of 2x2 starts with some lap cars, and some on good tires, some on old. And but I'll tell you what, those guys have. I'm impressed. Those guys up front have hit the setup, because it hasn't slowed them down much.
Mario Gosselin, once again, you're watching on the screen, trying to work around Eddie Mercer there, and also around the 6 car of Freddie Query, as we once again are trying to get a beat on just how many of these cars have new tires, fresh rubber, and how many don't. It'll get real obvious here in a minute, though, won't it?
Yeah, absolutely. As you can tell, I mean, Mario, he went right around. I mean, there was no problem. He used the top groove with them fresh tires, and
just went to the bottom once again too.
But they're going to back up. They're not going to last that long.
83 laps complete. Glad you're with us this afternoon as Hooters presents the 28th annual Snowball Derby, and once again we're watching Mario Gosselin, who is this year's champion. Chances are, if he's going to win the 28th annual Snowball Derby, he's going to have a lot of work to do this afternoon, because he's certainly a couple of laps down, had some bad luck, had a tire come off a little bit earlier, and we're sorting the field out. There's the leader, Dave Mader, Jeff Purvis, who's been basically running in the top 3 all afternoon, the Phoenix construction machine of James Finch, just hanging right with the leader.
Yeah, he's buying his time. There's nobody putting pressure on him. Right at this particular point, he and Dave are the class of they're hooked up. They're running good.
There he is, Jody Ridley. Another great Snowball Derby start for Jody. He was pretty questionable yesterday afternoon, though, whether Ridley was going to make the show here. We talked to him a little bit earlier this morning. Jody just looked at me and said, yeah, this has been another one of them bad years.
Yeah, I mean, it happens. I mean, you show up at the racetrack and feel you got a race car you ought to be sitting on the pole with, and next thing you know, you find yourself running a last chance qualifier at the end of the day, and not even making the field through that. So